That's an interesting little swerve around a puddle.
gets the credit. Give him all the peace points. He's an unhinged madman who threatened to unleash tell. It goes to show that completely over-the-top threats work. You don't believe me? I'll annihilate you. I hate my life, and I've got nothing to lose.
Michael, you've got plenty to lose, including this argument, because this was all Biden. Trump's just a little kid thinking he opened the pickle jar when Joe Biden had been loosening it for months. Give him the peace points. 7 peace points for Joe Biden.
Okay, guys, what the hell are peace points?
It's the points you get for peace. And they go to Donald Trump. He's basically the president now.
The president now is Joe Biden. This was all Joe Biden.
Hold on. No, I'm getting some breaking news. It sounds like the deal may be falling apart.
Like I was saying, this was all Donald Trump. He's basically the president now.
You're flip-flopping.
Okay,
You're flip-flopping.
so you maintain that this was Trump's deal, Costa?
Absolutely not. Donald Trump's not even close to being the president. He can't even win peace points yet.
Yeah, but he can lose peace points, and that means he's minus 26.
What the are peace points?
Think about him like a pickle jar.
Oh, come on. The entire deal is because of Joe Biden.
Wait, hold on. I'm getting word. The deal might be back on.
Joe Biden's replacement, Donald Trump. You did it, big guy. Congrats.
Oh my God, you're pathetic, Costa. Joe Biden did this. Hold on, I'm just getting an alert. Just want to make sure it's not about the deal. Oh, okay, it's fine. My kid's just missing. Anyway, Joe Biden did Middle East peace.
Guys, can't there be a compromise here? Like, for the sake of unity, surely you can come to an agreement on sharing the credit.
I guess we could split the credit. In phase 1, Biden gets the credit until Trump takes over.
Right. Then in phase 2, Trump takes the credit for 6 weeks.
And then if the peace holds in phase 3, both sides will coexist peacefully, sharing the credit, each of them both getting
4 peace points.
Wow. I still have no idea what peace points are, but the fact you guys achieved this agreement is historic. Well done.
Thank you. It was my idea.
No, I get the credit. Remember the pickle analogy? I loosened the deal.
It's my credit. If you talk about pickles one more time, I will kill you. I hate my life. I have nothing to lose.
All right, well, we'll have to go back to the negotiating table. Desi Leidick and Michael Costa. We'll get back to find out why Kamala didn't win the election. Don't go away.
Last time I was in Washington, D.C. was just 2 months ago, which feels like a lifetime. I was so young and naive, looking for answers.
What is your prediction for this election in 2024?
And Alan Lichtman gave them to me. But Alan Lichtman was wrong.
Donald Trump has been elected president.
Can you just admit that you got it wrong with your foolish little equation? You got it wrong, Alan.
You live in a total world of denial. You got it wrong. You were preposterously and stupidly wrong.
Alan, I seriously trusted you.
Well?
No, it's not your time to talk yet. I seriously trusted you. And I thought that what you told me was the truth.
I was being honest with you.
You weren't, Alan.
It was a prediction, not a fact. And I told you, I'm a human being, right?
You didn't tell me that you were a human being and that you might be.
I certainly didn't mean to hurt anyone. I'm not psychic. My predictions are based on history. And this year, which you know was the craziest year ever, the pattern of history was broken. That can happen.
Did you even notice I got a haircut?
Actually did, and it looks great.
I agree. It really frames my face.
If only Alan's political judgment was as good as his taste in haircuts. But it wasn't. And I needed to know why.
What are some of your excuses?
I definitely think I was thrown off by pushing Biden out. We've never seen a sitting president, the elected nominee, forced out.
Mm-hmm.
So that leads me to perhaps reevaluate my call on the contest cake.
See, yeah, I knew that was stupid and I was going to tell you, but I didn't want to woman's-plain.
The broader point is, I do think Harris's race and gender played a role here.
Mm-hmm.
There are deep strains within this country of misogyny, racism, xenophobia.
I wish you had told me that the first time. Could have maybe thrown that in there.
And to be fair, Alan wasn't the only thought leader who got this prediction wrong.
Have you talked to Charlie XCX about this or anything?
Talk to who?
Charlie XCX.
Maybe I'm not hearing you right.
Charlie XCX.
Charlie XCS. I don't know who that is.
Yeah. She said that Kamala is brat, and it just, at this point, I'm kind of thinking perhaps Trump was more brat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but you and her have not spoken.
We have not spoken.
I was secretly glad they hadn't spoken because that would make me crazy jealous, which is an issue I've been working on with my therapist. But did Alan have any regrets of his own?
Are you thinking, why did I ever get into politics? Why didn't I, just stick to modeling or something?
This is one prediction in over 40 years. I was listed as number 85 of the world's 100 leading geopolitical experts. But people think, oh, he made a wrong prediction.
Right.
That invalidates him as a person.
I one time was in an Uber and there was an iPad on the back of the seat and it said, what sound does a dog make? And bark was right there. I clicked moo. But lucky for me, it's not my job. And so it really had no impact on my life.
I'd like to say one more thing.
Please.
Yes. We shouldn't just write off an error. We can learn a lot about politics and our society from analyzing the mistake.
Wow. Yeah.
If you can't learn from your mistakes, then you're in big trouble.
You know what, Alan? I forgive you. And I hope that we're back here in 4 years.
I hope so.
And I hope you're right that time.
The great Benjamin Disraeli, the former late Prime Minister of England, once said, finality is not a word we use in politics.
I think Charlie XCX said that.
What's that?
I think Charlie XCX said that.
Every time you say that, I kind of go, what? It's not a name that rings any bells with me.
Thank you, Grace. When we come back, Democratic Quasi will be joining me on the show.
Thank you for joining the Neighborhood Watch meeting.
A quick question. Where will you be watching the NFL playoffs on CBS?
Streaming live on Paramount Plus.
It's not that kind of watch group.
It is now.
Critics call The Room Next Door another Almodovar masterpiece.
I will not go out and mortify Anguish.
Julianne Moore and Tilda Swinton are dazzling.
I'm learning from her, and you should too.
Deeply satisfying. A cinematic goldmine. Incandescently beautiful.
I don't know what to say. I'm hoping you say yes. Yes to what?
The Room Next Door. Rated PG-13. Now playing select cities, only in theaters.
The bold Louisiana flavor and crispy crunch of Popeye's signature chicken is the meal your craving deserves. And now you can get 3 pieces for just $5 and make it a meal for only $3 more.
What is that?
What is that?
Ooh, what is that?
It's the Genesis. Something you get used to saying a lot.
It's lunchtime, and Gary is double booked. Good thing Gary's company uses Otter's AI meeting assistant to take notes and generate a summary. So Gary doesn't miss a meeting and can regain his lunch break. Try now for free. Visit otter.ai or download the app.
Guys, how frustrating is it to find a great pair of jeans? Too tight here, too loose there, too long there? Standard jeans use just 2 measurements, and Tailor Custom Jeans use 7 different measurements to give you the perfect fit. Your phone can measure you right now. Download the M-Tailor app on iOS or Android. Choose from hundreds of styles. M-Tailor measures you digitally and is 20% more accurate than a professional tailor. With free shipping and a money-back guarantee, get your new favorite pair of jeans today. M-Tailor, available on the Apple App Store or Android.
It's a hard conversation to have. When you die, this is what's going to happen.
Trust and will makes it really easy and succinct for people to go out there and create their estate plan. That's such an important thing to have. The things and the people that you care about are taken care of.
Create your estate plan at trustandwill.com.
responsibilities didn't fit into my life.
They said I'd have to quit my job to go to school.
They said it would take me 4 years to graduate. They said I have to take tests when they tell me to.
They said my degree would cost a fortune.
But I didn't have to listen to them.
Because I have a university that listens to me.
Tests on your time, courses on your time, graduate on your time. WGU, the University of You.
This is Cassie. She never really paid attention to her credit scores until she got Credit Karma and used her scores to score more. Like a great rate on an auto loan for some more reliable wheels. Into a Credit Karma. Download the Money app where your hard work pays off.
39 and a half, 40 degrees, spring is here! Your cousin from Boston. Break out the Sam Adams Cold Snap, a bright wheat ale with orange and lemon zest. Ooh, rough night. It's Sam season!
I'm certain it's level 5.
Are you for imprint?
I'm certain it's level 5.
Certainty matters, like the certainty of 4imprint. Your home for high-quality promotional gear, including exclusive items and brands they love. Printed perfectly and guaranteed to arrive on time. To wow your clients, nail your next event, or inspire your team, check out 4imprint.com. 4imprint, for certain.
At Harbor Freight, we design and test our own tools and sell them directly to you. No middleman. Just quality tools you can trust at prices you'll love. Whatever you do it for less at Harbor Freight.
$5 duo answers hunger's call. $7 trio, more options for y'all. Which one will you choose? Abby, have it your way.
Welcome back to the Daily Show. My guest tonight is a Democrat who represents New York's 3rd Congressional District. Please welcome U.S. Representative Tom Suozzi. A lot of Suozzi heads here tonight, huh? Yeah, they're into it.
They're here for Clipper, not for Suozzi.
I didn't want to say it. But you know what? I think we share the love that is here. You got a lot on your plates. I want to talk to you about. We obviously Monday is the inauguration. You wrote a big.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, I'll be there.
Yeah, you're not going to storm the Capitol before that.
No, they did that already.
Did the Democrats meet together? Yeah, did you guys meet together and discuss whether we're yin and yang trying to stop?
We'll be there. We'll be there. We can't stop it.
We can't stop the proceedings. No. Well, maybe if you worked a little harder during the election, you could. I'm just spitballing here.
Just rub it in, Jordan. Rub it in.
Well, here, I'm curious. You wrote an op-ed a few weeks ago. Essentially, Democrats should meet Trump halfway rather than be a party of no. And for you, I'm curious, does that mean 7.5 million deportations instead of 15 million deportations? How does one meet the Republicans halfway?
Well, you've got to resist when it's appropriate. When he wanted to get rid of the Affordable Care Act. You have to resist when he wants to deport the Dreamers. Now, if he wants to weaponize the DOJ, you have to resist. If he wants to get rid of the climate stuff we've done, you got to resist.
Yeah.
So there's things you have to resist on. People want us to work together and try and solve problems. And we've tried all the stuff of just tearing him down as much as we can, and it didn't work. He won. And now people want us to work together to address the border, to address cost of living and inflation, to address the things that really happen in their lives.
Mm-hmm. I mean, people do want things to get done, right? But in 2016, it felt like the Democrats' angle was to be a party of no, to be obstructionist. And they won the midterms. There was success after that. Joe Biden was the next president. Is that a winning strategy? It felt like being obstructionist, being resisty, if not leading to
a consequence for ignoring our federal laws.
Let's bring in John Sandweg, the former Acting Director of ICE, U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement. It's good to see you, John. I wonder what you make of the
court being very concerned about TikTok's harvesting data from its users. All sorts of data about not only their viewing habits, but
move this down to Capital One Arena and have kind of a show inside the arena, a mini rally. Those are questions that are
Capilita can help you let in the light.
Break it, you own it. Donald Trump wanted this ban. He got it. Congratulations, Mr. President-elect. It's your problem now. All these 20-year-olds who want to blame somebody when their TikTok goes dark, they can blame Donald Trump because the reality is Joe Biden's out of here. And that's what happens when you have a Congress that is controlled by Republicans, a Supreme Court that is basically controlled by Republicans, and now a presidency on the 20th that will be controlled by Republicans. It is Donald Trump's problem. It is Congress's problems to fix, and they can take ownership of the fact that millions, if not hundreds of millions of people will be upset with them when this goes into effect.
Is it certain that he and the Republicans get the blame? Because Punchbowl News writes this. Democrats thought they'd be able to back the Chinese government into a corner with legislation forcing the sale of TikTok, dodging national security concerns as well as any backlash from their political base. Their gambit may have backfired. Is it also a challenge potentially for Democrats?
Well, Democrats don't know how to communicate, so you never underestimate the ability of Democrats to blow what I just set up, which is to put the blame squarely on the people who would be enforcing this ban. But if things were equal, and if Democrats knew how to communicate, they would do what I just said, which is effectively say, TikTok will be going dark under this administration, under this Congress, supported unanimously by a Republican-controlled Supreme Court. I don't know whose problem that is, but it's certainly not the Democrats' problem.
David, if this happens and the ban actually gets enforced, how does this need to get communicated to the country? Because if you talk to a lot of young people, one of the things that they'll say to you is, I just assume all my information is out there already anyway. They don't see the fact that their information is out there as some sort of national security threat. Has it been clearly explained to people what's going on here?
It hasn't, and this is where politicians either lead or they follow. And I appreciate the conversation around the blame game, but this was really a strong bipartisan 360 to 58 vote in the United States Congress that said this is a national security problem. And the reason why, yes, it's presumed that Google and Apple and all these other companies have our own information, but those are domestic companies. We are talking about China, who is not an ally. They are an adversary, having information about American citizens, and our political leaders, Democrat and Republicans, decided that this is a threat. Joe Biden signed this into law. This is a problem for the United States and for its users. And so politicians can either lead a national conversation as to the why, or they can just cop to saying, I don't want to take the political responsibility for this and try to make it all go away. Ultimately, we're endangering our own citizens if we ignore what the Supreme Court rightly said today, which is there a legitimate national security risk. Now, the answer is for ByteDance to divest itself of its ownership. And perhaps Donald Trump, through the art of the deal, can put together some type of billionaire-class purchasing group off of Wall Street or Silicon Valley to buy it and solve this. Maybe so. Maybe that's how he becomes a hero to the younger voters. But right now, to just point fingers and say, no, younger voters, I hear you, I'm going to solve this, is ignoring the actual substantive conversation that got us into this problem in the first place.
What are, Vaughn, the real political considerations for Donald Trump? We just heard from Savannah Sellers saying if you go on TikTok today, there are a lot of people crying and screaming. You obviously have a lot of businesses who really are fueled by what is shown on TikTok. So what does this mean for Donald Trump, however he decides to handle this?
Right, there is some backtracking, not just among Republicans. Of course, Speaker Mike Johnson was also one of those members that voted overwhelmingly for this legislative package that included aid to Ukraine, for example. But there's also Democratic members that are backtracking here. And there's a recognition that more than about half or more than half of Americans use this popular app. And so for Donald Trump, this is where his Department of Justice could suggest that they would not go after and try to prosecute Google or Apple for making this available, yet the statute of limitations extends to 5 years, and a reversal of a decision could put them in legal crosshairs still, these companies. And to David's points here, ByteDance has not suggested that they intend to sell the TikTok to any American buyer here. And so even if Donald Trump were to try to use that 90-day authorization extension from this going into effect, at this point in time, that significant progress towards finding a buyer, there's nobody out there that is currently raising their hand. And so I think this is really going to come down to a major discussion on Sunday and Monday as to Donald Trump, how he can use the executive office of the president to try to save what is clearly an app that a majority of Americans would seek to continue to use.
Vaughn Hilliard, David Jolly, and Julie Roginski, thank you all. Well, will the rest of the special counsel report stay under wraps, or can congressional leaders get a look? That's what's being argued right now in a Florida courtroom. Plus, Joe Biden set a new presidential record with just 3 days left in office. We've got that next on MSNBC.
You're seeing Skechers' famous glide step footwear everywhere. And now that famous design is available in hands-free Skechers slip-ins. Get the comfort and style of glide step now with the convenience of slip-ins with no bending down or touching your shoes. Try glide step Skechers slip-ins.
What the biggest companies deliver is an exceptional customer experience. What makes it possible is
Despite that messaging from U.S. Attorney Merrick Garland that this would only go to the ranking members of the Senate and House Judiciary Committees, the bottom line here is they could easily spread this out to the general public, and it could unfairly prejudice the case against Carlos de Oliveira and whatnot. I want to point you to some briefings that both sides have filed here, including that letter that was written by that House leadership there with respect to releasing this Volume 2. The lawyers for Naughton de Oliveira writing, the government can easily separate itself, from the powers of this court, powers that it does not want to acknowledge exist, by dismissing its appeal of this court order. In other words, having the DOJ basically drop the case against these guys so that this report could be released. And then you mentioned that letter there, Jamie Raskin and other Democrats writing to Merrick Garland saying it is incumbent upon you to take all necessary steps to ensure the report is released before the end of your tenure, including if necessary by simply dismissing the remaining criminal charges against Mr. Trump's co-conspirators. Again, all of this now coming to a head here essentially at the 11th hour. No word that we have seen that the DOJ has any plans of dropping any of the charges. But again, this case now here before Judge Eileen Canning, these arguments now underway. Only time will tell if she will have any ruling today or if this gets pushed right after the inauguration, Chris.
George Solis, thank you. If anything else happens inside, please come back to us and let us know. Danny, you heard him lay out basically the arguments on both sides. On the arguments and on the law, is it a clear decision?
No, because we're dealing with things that have never been dealt with before. And Trump has a two-stage argument he has to make. First, he has to be allowed to even intervene in the case to begin with. He's not in this criminal case right now, so he has to file a motion to come in as an intervener. Most people want out of a criminal case. It's rare that somebody tries to get into one, and the rules are pretty explicit that you generally don't get to come into a criminal case unless you have some serious federal right or constitutional right that you need to preserve. Trump's argument is that, of course I do. The immunity decision, all of the things that go into being a president-elect involve tons of things that are constitutional and federal. But the government argues, number one, that's not enough. You can preserve those rights without coming into this case as an intervener in a criminal case. And second, your argument, even if you are allowed in, that argument doesn't hold water. And I think one of the most compelling arguments that the government makes is that the idea that an about-to-be president or a president can't be investigated or written about is silly because look at the Mueller report. Look at the investigation of Joe Biden for classified documents. We investigate sitting presidents. Of course, the Trump team's argument is that in each of those situations, those presidents were not charged. This is a case where the president was actually charged, and it would be damaging to release that information.
So, given everything we know, and given Judge Cannon's record when cases involve Donald Trump, what do you think might happen here?
I like to think about it in terms of betting odds. And I look at the Trump team, they have to win two separate arguments. Even if they win on being allowed to even come into the case as interveners, then they have to win their second argument. So I'm taking just a simple approach and saying anytime someone has two burdens in a row that they need to meet, the odds are going to be difficult. And I think the government does make a good argument that Trump can preserve his rights or try to preserve his rights in other ways. He doesn't have to come into this particular criminal case, one in which he was let out, coming back in not as a defendant, but just an interested party.
Danny Savalas, always good to see you. Thanks so much. And today, President Biden cemented his legacy as pardoner-in-chief. He just commuted sentences for more than 2,000 people convicted of nonviolent drug offenses, meaning he's now issued more commutations and pardons than any president in U.S. history. NBC White House correspondent Aaron Gilchrist is following this for us. So let's talk about the priority that clearly President Biden has made of pardons and commutations.
Yeah, in this instance, Chris, the president says that this is really about fairness and equity. You saw this announcement today that just under 2,500 people are receiving commutations of their sentences. These are all people who were convicted of nonviolent drug offenses, and the president says they've been serving disproportionately long sentences compared to the sentences that they would have received today had they been prosecuted for these sorts of crimes. And he said that this is largely because of discredited distinctions between crack and powder cocaine. Obviously, we know this country went through a major epidemic, cocaine epidemic, crack epidemic years ago, and so many of these sentences would have been handed out at that time. And the president says that the action he's taken today is really about righting wrongs and correcting sentences, sentencing disparities for some of these people based on the laws that have been put in place in the last decade or so at different points in time to try to right these wrongs for these people so that they can rejoin society. We also know from the statement the president put out this morning that he does intend to look at potentially additional commutations before he leaves office at noon on Monday, and also would be looking at potentially more pardons. The idea of preemptive pardons for some people who over the years have been targeted by the incoming president, Donald Trump, is something that has been talked about quite a bit over the last month or so, in particular between President Biden and senior members of his staff. We heard the president himself say that he is looking at that possibility, that no decision had been made, at least in the last couple of days here, Chris, but we know that going into the weekend, there could be additional pardons, commutations, other forms of clemency extended from President Biden before he leaves office.
Aaron Gilchrist, thank you. Next, in the Senate committee hot seat, South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem, today facing questions on Trump's signature policy, border security. But how much of that will she actually oversee if confirmed to head Homeland Security? We'll speak to someone who helped lead ICE.
Here's to getting better with age.
Cheers to beating these two every Thursday.
Help fuel today with Boost High Protein. Complete nutrition you need and the flavor you love. So here's to now. Now available Boost Max.
Well, you're in the big leagues now.
How was your vacation, sir? Oh, I needed one.
With your 10% loyalty program discount, that's $225 for the night.
Not bad.
$155 for the night.
Hold up. How?
It's easy when you know where to look.
Trivago compares hotel prices from hundreds of sites, so you can save up to 40%.
Trivago's my secret tactic.
Hotel Trivago.
Head & Shoulders is launching something huge. The bare minimum. Anti-dandruff shampoo made with only 9 ingredients, no sulfate, silicones, or dyes, and packaged with 45% less plastic, giving you outstanding dandruff protection and leaving hair beautiful and moisturized. Major dandruff protection, minimal ingredients. Job done. Head & Shoulders Bare.
You founded your kayak company because you love the ocean, not spreadsheets. You need to hire.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our matching platform lets you spend less time searching and more time connecting with candidates. Visit Indeed.com/hire.
Just take a little bit.
This part is never easy, but at least saving on your medication is. Prescription savings made easy. Another good reason to check GoodRx.
Just a little bit more and you'll feel all better.
University of Maryland Global Campus is a school for real life, one that values the successes you've already achieved. Earn up to 90 undergraduate credits for relevant experience, and get the support you need from your first day to graduation day and
Hi,
Hello, sir. Good afternoon. Sorry. How are you?
Good afternoon. I'm doing all right. Just,
Sorry?
I'm doing okay. I'm just making my way back. I was in the office a little bit ago, and I'm making my way back home to check on the 3D prints.
Yes.
I can show you a quick picture of where we were at as of a couple hours ago. It
Yes.
looked like it was coming together really well.
Yeah.
Maybe this one. Yeah, this one.
Okay.
So I think it's it should be done probably within the next hour. And I guess what I wanted to verify is if the guys up at Auburn Hills, if they want to try to test that this afternoon, or if they just wanted to wait until Monday.
Yes, Mike was asking for this availability for this part. I know we do have the book already there.
Okay.
But I don't know if they already allocate all the resources for working on the weekend, because on Monday there is a holiday.
Oh, is there?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yes, Monday they are not working.
I didn't
know that. But to be honest, I don't know if they will be allocate some resources to work on weekend for having this field testing completed.
Okay.
Do you know, Alex, if you discuss something with Mike for having someone to run the test, we can get the part later today? Alex?
Oh, sorry, I was in mute. You said we can get the part later today?
That's I will know in about 5 minutes here. I'm just making my way back home, and just as long as like everything's still holding together, it should be done printing, I think, by 4 p.m. After that, I would need probably 30 minutes to take all of those support, like get all that cleaned off and do the curing process. So I mean, it would be late this afternoon, like probably the earliest would be like 5:30. If they wanted to try to do it over the weekend, that's totally okay with me. I didn't realize that Monday they were off in Auburn Hills. So if that's the case, then and if the weekend doesn't work out, then I guess we wait until Tuesday.
Right.
But it's totally up to you guys. I just want to do whatever I can do to get you the part in hand so that we've got what we need.
Yes, I'm trying to pull Mike to see if he can confirm us if there is someone that can help us on receiving the part and obviously making that quick field testing assessment. But seems he's busy in another call because I tried to pull him, but it rejects me automatically.
Yeah, I saw a picture. The box seems to be placed and ready.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just a matter of who can help us, like even on the weekend. That'd be good. That'd be great.
Yes.
Okay.
Do you know, Alex, if Mike mentioned something to you that we may think on having something on making that work on weekend, or we did not discuss that yet?
No, not yet. But it will be great, like if we can.
Yes.
If not, well, Monday morning. I think it's the most likely.
But I was mentioning that Monday is holiday.
Oh damn!
So no one will be there from US.
Right. Okay. Well, I'll check up with him on that. Write that down.
Okay. So then, Ross, I think Alex or either we can follow with Mike to confirm if someone can help us on weekend.
Okay.
I think Mike has your contact and cell phone, everything, right? So
yes.
He can give you a call and say, hey, guess what, you can bring this to me, and I can bring to the guys in the lab, and we can schedule something quickly.
Yeah,
okay.
Absolutely. And I know exactly where to take it. I live pretty close to Auburn Hills. Like without traffic, it's only a 20-minute drive, so I can have the part there pretty quickly.
So it's so close.
I'm closer to Auburn Hills office than I am to Yap's office, so it makes it easier for me to go up to CTC than it does for me to go into my office.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. What else we will be discussed today? Well, thank you for all the information you gave me. I have almost everything completed already for the tooling kickoff form. I think probably the only question I have left. Let me just show you this here.